taking the last little bit of my money and deciding, do I invest it in LinkedIn ads? Do I invest it in Google ads? Do I buy a lead list? What's going to generate the business for me? I chose to do BNI. I rolled the dice on BNI with the last little bit of money I had to sign up for this. And I will say that that was the best decision for me. My name is Jesse. I'm a financial advisor with New York Life. If someone asked me to join, like, should I join BNI or not, I would say go for it. Because unlike the other opportunities that exist out there, if you're truly, I just feel like BNI encompasses everything, right? It can help the introverted person who wants to develop a certain side of them that isn't fully developed, and it can also catapult exponentially the extroverted person who already has the natural charisma and the ability to network. So really, when you think about all the kinds of people that are out there, even if you're somewhere in between, this particular organization will give you resources, will give you knowledge, and it'll give you the know-how to be able to grow your business. So I say to anyone who's thinking about joining, come on board. What's the harm? You join, you make friends, and there should be little reason why you should have success if you really follow the BNI system. Well, I have two favorite core values, but I will just touch on the one that I like, that I feel is the most valuable. I'm sure everyone says this, but giver's gain to me is the number one core value that I really like, mainly because I've always had this philosophy that you get what you give in this world. You may not always get it from the source that you give it to, but at some point, the more positive actions and the more positive energy you release out into the world, that has a tendency to come back to you in ways that you'd never imagined. It's actually been proven too in my business. The more that I think about helping the person across from me, and the more that I think about just helping the client, regardless of what my personal gain is, I have seen more growth and success without asking for anything in return. Things just kind of show up. So that's my number one. The second one's building relationships. Whether you call it being present, whether you call it showing up, or whether you call it trying, fact of the matter is that people in a certain way, if you think about why you join BNI, let's say that you're in this particular situation where your business is growing, you need more exposure, you need more growth, so you show up to BNI, right? Now, you may come in with the heart of trying and giving. If you have a chapter of people who none of them try, then nothing happens, right? So if you think about it, it's really back to that giver's gain philosophy, right? You give without the expectation of receiving. That's the difference. And I say you get what you give, but the reality is when you give without the expectation of receiving, that is a natural energy that tends to circulate throughout the chapter. And when you have a group of people that are actually present, that are actually trying, that are actually giving, it's easy to spot those that are not, and they actually naturally get filtered out. But that makes your group that much more coherent, that much more successful. It's like having a bad apple in a bunch. If you don't try, if you're not present, not only will you naturally fizzle out yourself, but you're wasting your money at that point. Why even bother if you're not going to put in the effort? You may as well do something different. But that's also counterintuitive in my opinion, because if you show up to BNI with the intent of growing, with the intent of making relationships, and with the intent of making money, which is why we're all in business, then by not trying in BNI is almost akin to not really wanting to try in your business. You have to market your business. This is just one extra way to do it. One way that is an infinite revenue source if you really do it right. And I'll also touch on the cost of BNI while I'm actually in this point, because I feel like it's a natural segue into that. I can speak from my own experience. I do finance, I like returns. When I think about the amount that I've invested versus the amount that I've received back, not just in friendships and relationships, but monetarily, it is something to the tune of a 700% increase from where I was. It is absolutely bonkers. But take away that for a second. I have spent more money in useless opportunities trying to generate business, and I saw no success. But I also realized that as a business owner or as an investor, I have to make an investment in my business. So let's do the comparison, right? Google ads will cost you an arm and a leg if you run them for a long time. Meta ads will cost you an arm and a leg if you run them for a long time. And that's a recurring cost that you'll always have to pay for. Every click, every view, however they calculate the cost, you've got to pay for that. Or maybe you invest $1,100, join a chapter, join a network, and it's a one-time annual cost investment. Even if you get 2 or 3 referrals out of the year, you're more than likely recouping your cost. Like, your risk is just so low. When I realized it, because when I first came on board to BNI, I was actually in a really bad spot in my life. I had a lot of things that happened that were external circumstances that I couldn't control. I was down to my last few dollars, and I had to decide what to do next. I still had to continue doing my business. I still had to continue generating revenue, and I was taking the last little bit of my money and deciding, do I invest it in LinkedIn ads? Do I invest it in Google ads? Do I buy a lead list? What's going to generate the business for me? I chose to do BNI. I rolled the dice on BNI with the last little bit of money I had to sign up for this. And I will say that that was the best decision for me, because not only did it dig me out of the situation that I was in, it has paid me more than I ever imagined. I hate talking about the recognitions that I get in my job, but I am currently number 2 in the entire office in terms of production and that's all because of BNI. I would never be there without it. I wouldn't have dug out of almost 50 grand in debt if it wasn't for BNI. So I don't know, $1,100 might seem like a lot to you, but when I look at how much I've earned compared to how much I've invested in this, I'd do it all over again.